Y'all know me, I can sit here and talk for hours on this subject. But I'm not going to. I'm going to give you a brief overview. And when I say brief, I really mean I'm going to talk about one experience. I'm going to hope this sink in with you.
Yeah. I killed some bonds last night. Suicide.
When I was growing up, yo, when I was growing up, you know what was the main thing that like bothered the hell out of me? How every time I went to an after school center, even if it was the boys club, it was the one across the street, it was another one, a beacon program somewhere, every time I went to an after school program, they never had a full deck of Uno cards. There was always a card missing. Now for you, you might think this is a small issue because you're hearing about this at this time. But for a child who wants to play with their friends and there's nothing else to do around, somebody pull out the Uno cards, oh, it's a riot. Except when you realize that there aren't enough cards for everyone to go around, so not everybody can play with it. You ever see the edges of Uno cards when they've been worn a lot and they've got that gray, it's almost like the card could peel apart, and then you realize how paper it is? If your answer to anything I've said thus far is no, I've never experienced that, then you didn't grow up like I did. I am tired of my experiences being labeled as not important to the greater scheme of life, because my experience is the one of millions. I just happen to have the platform where I'm able to articulate these thoughts in a way that makes you feel something. So try to go along and follow the ride with me if you don't mind. It's not only just the theory of missing Uno cards. It's little things. Like nobody in the center being like making enough money to afford a game system. So when it came to the boys club, you got a whole bunch of kids there, whole bunch of boys, and they got to get their aggression out somehow. You got them playing pool, foosball, got them hanging out with one another. They bring their DSs. We used to play on our DS. Mega Man Battle Network is coming back. You should definitely hop in on it. The esports community is popping. I didn't know there was an esports community because I couldn't afford internet until I was about 14 years old. And by afford, I mean my family finally got their shit together and we actually got internet. What about those who didn't? What about those who needed Wi-Fi routers during the pandemic? Oh, did you forget that we already saw this issue pop up once before? And we did nothing to fix it because the infrastructure wasn't there? Who really cares about poor people at the end of the day? It seems like it's only other poor people. Let's get a little deeper, shall we? Some people barely understand what it is to like need a doctor's note. Some people really feel it when you have no insurance and you need something treated but you just ignore it. I ignored my tooth until it became so bad I needed a root canal. My question is, are these type of experiences that I've listed just the 2 so far? 3 actually. 4 actually. 5 actually. Are they enough to make you believe that some people grew up with a different type of mindset? What do you know about competition when your competition is with broken pieces on a chessboard or some of the checkers missing or some of the cards in the deck missing? What if that's your only experience with those things? When somebody brings out a fresh deck of cards, you're amazed. Bro, I just bought these for $3 at the store. The idea of poverty being a thing is not true anymore. From this day onward, you think of poverty as a lifestyle. A lifestyle that nobody asks for, I promise you. If it were true, people would work in The Sims and they wouldn't make custom content. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. We move in different circles. I promise you, getting beat up is universal. Like, poverty creates gang culture. What you know about going home with your DS afraid that somebody's gonna rob you, so you don't play it as often. You don't bring it outside of the house because you're afraid of somebody robbing you, so you don't play it when you're at home. You play that whenever your dad or mom decides to pour another drink, You don't want them to yell at you, so you put your headphones on because that seems to be when they leave you alone. That DS that you think of as a competitive gaming device, that's why I brought up Call of Duty Mobile. That thing you think of as a gaming device is somebody's escape from even worse things happening to them. Oh, but these are just anecdotes. Nah, these are common stories. Broken parents raising broken children. Come on, you gotta know this one already. Come on, you can't pretend that don't exist. But that's crazy because we seem to attribute these issues to the people who are poor, homeless, not the people who shoot up schools who have access to guns, not the people who literally create capital out of turning people homeless. Come on. Section 8 has inspections because it's the only way to hold landlords accountable for how they treat people who they know are making below the poverty line in money. Whether you are or you aren't is not up to whether your situation changes, whether you got Section 8 and you're just lucky, you got a lottery, you're just blessed. There's always somebody willing to take it from you. There's always some developer somewhere willing to say, fuck the poor people. What if we just put a pause to that? Let's bring up another idea in here. We'll make it personal. We'll make it personal to me. I used to go to school every day, and for like a good month and a half, they used to talk about a show called Total Drama Island. I had no idea what the hell they was talking about. Oh, bro, it's on Cartoon Network. You don't got cable? No, I don't. How do you have cable? Kids look at you different if you don't know what they're talking about.
I don't know.
It's no wonder the library became so important for kids when they were growing up because there was access to a computer. Come on, keep stepping forward. These things don't change children's perceptions of how people treat them. I remember one time I was with my first grade teacher. She had became my babysitter for a period of time because it was the easiest and most trustworthy resource. She lived close to the house, and obviously my dad loved her. Oh, whatever. She's still alive. Bless her. Bless her. I'm gonna take her out for photos one day. I think that would be a nice, 20-year encapsulation. Anyway, babysitter got cable. Babysitter got all of this. Damn, that's crazy. You really doing that? One time went to a Christmas thing with her and the agency that she worked for homeless children. We were doing a Christmas thing, handing out gifts, and I remember she told me, make sure you're the first one on the line, because you helped put this together. I really was like I think I was 8, 9 at the time. I was putting shit together. I was an able-bodied kid, putting in work. I walked up, and because of the way I was dressed that day, because I didn't plan on looking a certain type of way, I walked up, and the guy was like, why did you just skip all the kids? And I was like, because the person who's in charge, Miss Cologne, the person I came in with, literally just told me, yo, get to the front of the line, get your first of the pick, because, you with me. That's carte blanche. Nah, turn me away. Don't lie to me. That's what he said. Don't lie to me. That don't affect your mental health growing up. I gotta prove to everybody that I am who I am. I gotta prove, or else I'm the villain. I'm just the guy talking out of his mouth. You mean to tell me growing up poor and black in America can make you doubt your self-worth? I've only given you 10 examples thus far, and they're super small things. Imagine people who had to see their brothers die in the street. Gun violence, gang violence. They had to get in one themselves. Yo, stab this kid in school. Oh, all of these things all of a sudden are... So what really does cause people to feel like this? Why did I even want to start this entire segment? Why did I say it was going to be a brief overview and then we're already at 10 minutes? Because I'm here to tell you that things do affect people longer than the event themselves. And we're coming to a head point where all of that is unraveling. The experiences that people hoarded can no longer be hoarded. Sorry, everybody got to get a house. I can't stand to see another kid in another after-school center I work at have no Uno cards. Every time I walk into a center and that shit is fucked up, I spend my own money to go get them Uno cards because they're not dealing with what I had to deal with. They're not dealing with, if I could make a place for them seem better with the resources that they have, they might in tune think that there are more possibilities within the resources that they have, and they might reach themselves out a little bit more. But if I don't give them that confidence, they getting nothing. I wasn't given that confidence growing up. I realized that a lot of people, especially a lot of teachers, a lot of, oh, you're gonna go great, oh, you're gonna do this, you're gonna be great. They were just, yo, stay out of the nonsense of the hood. I'll control both if I have to. I'll be the godfather of both the online spaces and the offline spaces. I can do it because I'm that person. But I didn't come here because I wanted to. I don't say this because I want to. I say this because I have to. Because you gotta understand. Just those little things. That kid having that game that you wanted so desperately, while your parents can't afford to split the bill on something, and they gotta decide between it. We don't got time for gifts this Christmas. We don't got time for these things don't change your experiences growing up. I see people differently. I see other kids with envious eyes just because that's the way they were designed to talk about the things that they have. No, why you always showing off the new Jordans and your Gucci chain if you on food stamps? Because that's all I know, because that was all I was given. But yet you think I'm the bad guy. How is that? Explain to me how that is. Now, this might make you say, well, how do we fix this? Being empathetic towards everything doesn't give us the probable solutions that they need and the probable, we need to be able to... It is as simple as this. The solution, and the reason why I brought up this entire thing, the whole point of this, is to say that growing up poor and black makes you miss out on things. And one day I will go into huge detail about each and every story of how my brain pivotally changed from being this innocent, young, naive black kid to understanding that I am judged literally by the socks on my feet. I will go into that one day, probably in season 3. You should come join us. And I'll see you in the next one.